Hi. Many of us are familiar with Zoom. It's been an extraordinarily helpful tool during this time where many of us have gone online. And there are a whole variety of features and functions of Zoom that make it a wonderful, wonderful tool as we seek to communicate with one another. But some of those functions and features may not be so familiar to all of you. So this brief video is a way of introducing things that we regularly use as part of our online training here at CPAS. First of all, it's worth acknowledging, of course, you may well be using Zoom on a whole variety of different platforms. Our encouragement is, if at all possible, try to be on Zoom on either a large desktop or tablet screen, a laptop screen, rather than a tablet or phone screen. You'll find it much easier to use if you're able to do it that way. And the features that I'm going to show are available on desk and laptops, although of course it may look a little bit different depending on whether you're on a PC or on a Mac system. I'm on a PC system, so I'm going to introduce it to you in that way. First thing is to be aware that there are two basic ways of setting up your screen. One is called full screen mode, which is the way I'm in at the moment, and if you come up to the right here, you can click on View and exit full screen mode. And that gives you a slightly different way of looking at things. And like any other window, you can adjust the size of your window to be as big or as small as you would like. So there are some advantages to being in full screen mode. It takes up everything on your screen. And there are some advantages to being out of full screen mode. One of the things is that if you open up the chat facility in full screen mode, it hovers it over the video. Now, of course, you can move it wherever you want it to go, but it is a little bit annoying if you've got, for example, multiple videos on the screen. The advantage is if you come out of full screen mode, chat opens up in a separate bar on the side. And that actually means it's not going to intrude over the videos. You can also just increase or reduce the size of the chat bar accordingly by just grabbing the little line between the two. So let me come out of chat for a moment. There are some other ways that you can adjust to the view as well. You can go in speaker view, which is the one I'm in at the moment, and generally the one we encourage you to use if you're listening to somebody speaking. But if you're having a conversation within a group, being in gallery view where all the different participants are tiled on the screen is the better view to be in. And it's worth knowing that you can set the number of videos you can see on one screen. If you come down to here where it says video, stop video, and click on the little arrow next to it, go up to video settings, and then you'll find there's a whole variety of settings that you can use for the video. You can even touch up your appearance. I haven't tried that one. You can adjust the light for low light, that's a good one. But if you scroll right to the bottom, you'll find display up to 49 participants per screen in gallery view, so that you can maximize the number on any one screen. If there are more than 49 participants on your particular call, then it'll go onto 2 screens or 3 screens, depending on the total number. There are also other settings here you can play with, worth having a look at those, but this particular group of video settings, it's worth setting display 49 participants. You can also, if you find your own view a little bit distracting, and it can be a bit distracting looking at yourself, right click on your video, and then you can go to hide self view. And that means you can concentrate on other people rather than be looking at yourself. And that can be a helpful way of setting yourself up. You can also, if you want, return to show self view. So you come back up to the view button in the top right, show self view, and then you return. One other thing to show is that if, as often we do, we're inviting you to use a Padlet board or to look at something else up on your screen, a way to actually do that easily is if you're in a Windows, to click on the button at the top right here, minimize window. And that just simply places your video in places Zoom into a small window, which you can position anywhere on your screen. So you could be working on a Padlet board or an exercise that has been set in a different program whilst you're part of the training event. To return to full screen, you just come to the bottom right of that little window and where it says exit minimize video, and that brings you back up onto the full screen. And then one final thing to just show you with this sort of viewing of things is they have now allowed you to be able to move the videos around and reposition the videos where you would want them to be. So you could, for example, if you've got a dozen people, put them all in a particular place if that was helpful to you on the screen. We often use the chat facility during our particular events, and we do encourage you to post into the chat. If you're putting a post in the chat, making a comment or saying something, then just put them in lowercase. But if you're asking a question, we invite you to put those in uppercase. That helps us to see them a little bit more quickly and makes it easier for us to pick them up and then respond to them appropriately. We often use the screen share facility and put up a PowerPoint or a whiteboard, as you can see here. And again, there are a variety of ways you can lay out the screen for this. Again, just simply go up to the view bar, click on the view bar. The standard layout looks a little bit like this, and that is with the video large and the PowerPoint small, or you can press here to switch it to the other way around, and then you can see the videos tiled along the top here. But there are other options as well, and I personally prefer the side-by-side views. Here's the gallery view, which actually places a number of the videos side by side with the PowerPoint, and in between here, if you just hover, you can adjust the size of the videos or of the PowerPoint. So if you had multiple videos, you could put them up, maybe a dozen or so of them there, and have the PowerPoint a little bit smaller. Or the alternative is to go to View, let me just pin my video, and then click on Side by Side Speaker, and that will just simply give you the speaker plus the PowerPoint. Again, you can adjust the size accordingly as to which you would prefer. We also regularly use breakout rooms. That's where we put you into a small group of other people of varying sizes. When you go into a breakout room, you'll find in the top right hand corner we tend to put a countdown clock which tells you how long you'll be in the breakout room and gives you an indication of the time that is left. We also encourage you to, when you come out of a breakout room, to place comments or feedback from the breakout room in the chat. Don't do that while you're in the breakout room, because only the people in the breakout room can see it. Wait until you've gone back into the main room, and then you can place your comments for everyone to see in the chat. Well, there are some basic facilities of Zoom that you might find of help. I do hope you'll enjoy the CPAS event you're about to be a part of, and thank you for joining us.